Anyone whose imagination favors the visual has at one time or another encountered the image that seems to come out of nowhere and then proceeds to doggedly park itself in the periphery of our daily routine. It's these curious phantoms that at first seem to have little immediate relevance, and then we swat them away like bothersome flies. Still, some persist. One then finds oneself faced with the choice of either enduring or finding a means of putting the persistent ideas to rest. The professor's nightmare was not only one of those relentless mental images, but as of this date, as close to any of the tableau has ever come to being considered divisive. The professor was one of 4 key pieces to show at a Soho group exhibition at the end of 2016. The object was in fact rejected by the exhibition's curator. It wasn't the vulnerable senior citizen scientist plunging through a dizzying maze of unintelligible mathematical equations head first into a pool of charred human remains that was responsible for the work's exile, nor was it the depiction of an apocalyptic solar eclipse on the left side of the artwork. Rather, it was a painting loosely resembling a wartime Japanese imperial flag on the enclosure's right flank that got the piece banned. In fact, the original ensign had 16 rays. The rendering on the tableau has a perplexing 22 red beams. While not as provocative as some may have feared, in a fragile climate of social justice, the curator of the exhibit was not equipped to deal with the possible risk of history offending the gallery's occasional Japanese clientele. It may simply be that we humans just find symmetry appealing. However, in a recent retrospective showing, it had become apparent that the curious reoccurring theme of twin figures in the work might be a part of a deeper, veiled agenda. Gemini, the first of its kind in this group, was long in the planning stage and twice as long in its execution. A child of the space race and attached admirer of the design that came out of the tales of Jules Verne, this and other related images had been begging for realization from the time of childhood. This at first puzzling account of a like siren ceremoniously placing a golden human skull onto a modest pedestal is one of the more enigmatic concepts of paired figures. The implication took on a personal meaning to this artist when on the day of its completion, news had come of a boyhood friend, one of a set of twins, having recently died. Again, a subtle exchange of information across time parenthetically features another pair of industrious brothers. The commissioned work's narrative focuses on an imaginary meeting of minds wherein the visage of an earlier 20th century artist is handing over a creative concept in the form of an enigmatic rectangle. While not categorically qualifying as a nagging image, the work is not without intrigue and invites contemplation. the case of Virgil in a Dark Wood, it was an obsession with title alone that fostered its creation. A rough and rowdy guide, made fast by having been quite literally to hell and back, the spirited poet defiantly stands ready for whatever challenge is to come. So persistent was the concept that before its present incarnation, the project was rebuilt 3 times. These opposing doppelgangers also imply the idea of mask as metaphor and metaphor as mask. While superficially drawing inspiration from classic Japanese theater, a closer look reveals a more layered deception. It is in this enclosure that a scribbled fragment of poetry whose long-forgotten inspiration inspires its restless, melancholy spirit. As similar to the tableau Virgil in a Dark Wood, the long, thin wooden spires do double duty as both trees and beams of faint moonlight. The implication of profound tragedy plays itself out as an eternal, unfulfilling pursuit.